Saturday night, Conference USA basketball from Diddle Arena in Bowling Green, Kentucky. The FIU Panthers come on the road to take on the Western Kentucky Hilltoppers. With that, we say hello courtside. He's Jay Walton. I'm Nate Gatter. So glad to have you with us tonight. Jay, a couple of teams that struggled to start Conference USA play. There's no doubt about that. But both of them playing some of their best basketball of the season at the moment. And both have beaten UAB in the last week, so things can't be too bad.
Both teams had their ups and downs, trending upward as of late. Huge opportunity for FIU. Come on the road and steal a win. Western Kentucky looking to protect the home floor.
Let's get a look at a couple of players to watch tonight. First for FIU, Denver Jones. I mean, look at those numbers, Jay. Almost 20 points a game.
Obviously the key to their team. Scores at all three levels. He is going to get his field goal attempts. For Western Kentucky, the key is to make sure his looks are tough. You do not want him to get easy looks early and get cooking.
Jones has scored 20-plus in 5 straight. Meanwhile, for Western Kentucky, the answer is pretty much the same as it always is. Davion McKnight, what doesn't he do for the Tops?
Well, that's block shots, and that's Jamarian Sharp's job, but everything else runs through him. And obviously a huge key, going to have to do even more today with no Emmanuel Acott in the starting lineup.
Tops are still without head coach Rick Stansbury tonight. For more on that, let's check in on the sideline with Lexi Schweiner.
Two teams in conference facing off tonight with the same record in conference here tonight at Diddle Arena. WKU has some momentum coming off a 2-game winning streak, hoping to keep that momentum going into their 2-game homestand. FIU also coming off a close loss to FAU that ended in overtime. WKU head coach Rick Stansbury will be out again tonight. That's 5 consecutive conference games, but Coach Cunningham will be filling in for him in the interim. We'll have more updates for you later. For now, I'll send it back to you guys.
Thank you, Lexi. Phil Cunningham leading the Hilltoppers for a 6th game. Started 0-3 as the interim head coach of the Tops, but he's won his last 2 in a row. Meanwhile, for FIU, the 41-year-old head coach of the Panthers is Jeremy Ballard in his 5th season, leading the visitors from Miami. They're in Navy against Western Kentucky in the home whites. Jamarian Sharp, unsurprisingly, wins the tip. He starts with Davion McKnight and Christian Lander in the backcourt, along with Luke Frampton. Inside, Jarius Hamilton, the forward, and he took an extra step. Western Kentucky turns it over, but Lander gets the start in place of Emmanuel Acott, unavailable due to a head injury. He is day-to-day.
Yeah, big loss for Western. He does a lot of things in that offense. No real weaknesses in his game offensively, and a big opportunity for Lander, who's had some big moments off the bench and just looking to play more consistently now as a starter.
FIU on its first possession. There's Krivakopich and Denver Jones benching at the outset. He will take a lot of shots for the Panthers. Instead finds Nick Guadarrama. Left it short. About a fresh 20 when the clock resets. Guadarrama goes inside and he gets his bucket to go.
Guadarrama not going to finish a lot of plays above the rim, but very, very crafty right there. Nice patience on the shot fake and using the reverse finish.
So FIU has the opening bucket. Western Kentucky yet to take a shot a minute in. Here's Lander, the transfer from Indiana. Of course, this is a Western Kentucky roster loaded with transfers top to bottom. Lander gets a good look and scores.
Great start for him. He's got the range. Good to see that first one go down in a new role for him.
Nice little pick and roll on the inside. Sanogo kicks it out wisely for Krivakopich to knock down a 3, and the Panthers answer right back.
Key tonight for Western defensively is going to be how they cover ball screens. They're going to have to guard multiple ball screens each possession. Right there, you see the defense, or the offense creates the help with the screen and roll and freed up the shooter on the wing, and Krivakopich able to knock it down.
Davion McKnight, a 3 of his own. He's always been comfortable in the mid-range, Jay, but it seems like that 3-point shot has gotten better and better for him as his time has gone on in Bowling Green.
The mid-range certainly his bread and butter, but has shot it better and better as his career has progressed. And as if that's a part of his offensive assault, he is really tough to guard.
And an unforced turnover by Sanogo gives us a chance to meet Jeremy Ballard, as mentioned, in his 5th season at FIU after coming over following assistant coaching stops at VCU, Pitt, Illinois State, Tulsa, and Colgate throughout his career. Panthers coming off back-to-back overtime wins, or overtime games, I should say. A win over UAB last week and a loss to FAU in the midweek.
We'll keep an eye on it. You know, you and I talked about before the game, if conditioning becomes a factor. It becomes a grind with 2 overtime games in a row, now still on the road. See what that looks like for them late in this game.
Rare miss for Frampton on a really good look. Shooting almost 50% from 3 this year. Denver Jones hasn't had a shot yet, almost 3 minutes in. Here's Arturo Dean, works on Lander, got him in the air. Sanogo challenges Sharp, and Hamilton the rebound.
Well, not a block on that possession for Sharp, but you can just tell how he affects the game defensively.
And offensively.
Wow. Defensive contest, a rebound, and runs the floor, and gets rewarded for his hard work. You love to see the big guy get out and run the floor.
Sanogo's not particularly big for a 5-man at the Conference USA level at 6'9", but you would think he's not used to giving up 8 inches. Guadarrama goes outside for Dean, and he splashes a 3 to tie things up.
This young man, Dean, has really played well lately, and we talked about the key, one of the keys for Florida International being who's going to step up besides Jones and provide offense. And right now, I think he's their best second option behind Jones.
Only a 19% three-point shooter this year. Frampton off the mark on his second 3 of the evening thus far. Jones works into Frampton. Krvakovic is fouled by Lander on a 3. That's sloppy from Christian Lander, who is a junior but hasn't played a ton of basketball in his career. Just didn't get a lot of playing time over his first 2 years with the Hoosiers, and now the Evansville native in his first year in Bowling Green, and maybe tasked with his biggest assignment of the season tonight.
Well, this commits the cardinal sin right there. You never want to bail out a 3-point shooter with a foul, and Krvakovic's going to go to the line for 3 easy ones right now.
Krvakovic, a 67% foul shooter this year. Just his 3rd start of the season. Played well though on Wednesday night against FAU. He got 34 minutes. Now everybody's been playing a lot of minutes with back-to-back overtime games. 8 points, 9 boards for him against the Owls. Denver Jones in particular has been carrying a very big load, unsurprisingly, with those 2 overtime games in a row. He's gone over 40 minutes in back-to-back games, which is not something that many players can say very often at the college level.
No.
So Krvakovic gets all 3. McKnight has to get it over the timeline. Tops only have 1 second, and Hamilton gets there.
Well, you'll see the full court pressure from FIU throughout the game. They usually go to a 2-2-1 look.
Lander pops open, hit 1 already, make it 2.
Just about the same spot. That was a set play. Back screen, rescreen action.
A 35% three-point shooter so far this year, and looking good early on tonight. Guadarrama does have the size advantage, had it knocked away. Dean works on Hamilton, into Sharp, goes underneath, and Sharp goes up to deny the would-be dunk from Seth Pinckney. Jamarion Sharp blocks the shot, and you can see why in just over a season and a half on the Hill. He's only 5 blocks now shy of the Hilltoppers' all-time record. Good start here, almost 5 minutes in, knotted at 11 at Diddle Arena.
Hey guys, welcome back into Diddle Arena. Something really cool for Western fans that was just announced this past week. WKU is releasing a new beer. It's called 1906 Lager. They're partnering with West 6 Brewing to release this beer. It has about 4.2% alcohol. I've heard it tastes like Miller Lite. I haven't tried it myself yet, but I'm really excited to try it. It's going to be in concession stands for the game next Saturday against Charlotte. It'll also be at all football games. I'm really excited for fans to have this. It's red for WKU's color, obviously a red towel on it, and the saying, stand up and cheer for dear old Western. Can't wait to see this on campus. Send it back to you guys.
Thank you very much, Lexi. We are tied up at 11, almost 5 minutes in this evening at Diddle Arena. Western Kentucky has hit 3 3-pointers so far, missed another 2, both of those from Luke Frampton on good looks. Jay, it feels like the Hilltoppers are pretty much getting what they want so far from beyond the arc.
Yeah, especially Lander coming as a starter for the first time. Hits his first 2 looks It's a great sign for them. Looking to see Jarius Hamilton get involved soon. They usually like to go to him in the mid-post area early in the game to get him established. Let's see coming out of this timeout if Western Kentucky gets a set play.
Hamilton hasn't taken a shot from the field so far. Had a turnover just before what would have been his only attempt. Tops have turned it over just once, Panthers twice after Denver Jones stepped on the sideline on that far side. And you'd think Phil Cunningham won't be too disappointed with 5 minutes having gone by and Denver Jones not having attempted a shot yet.
It's a great start defensively. Make somebody else for FIU beat you, not let Denver Jones get off to a great start.
Sharp has to go down and make the catch. That allowed Dean to get involved. McKnight took contact but didn't get a whistle, and the Panthers can run out. Kravaca pitch. Off the mark, Hamilton the weak side board. Hamilton off his foot. A couple of uncharacteristic turnovers from the veteran. Dean goes to Kravaca pitch, and it's knocked away out of bounds by Lander. So FIU will have it. Kind of a helter-skelter minute out of the timeout. Western Kentucky going to go to the bench for the first time. A couple of changes. Falou Jun is on for the Hilltoppers, number 1 in white, along with 24 Tyrone Marshall Jr. He played 24 minutes off the bench in the Hilltoppers win on Wednesday. Junior from Nashville, off a couple of years at Colby Community College. Here's Jones. McKnight's done a good job on him so far. Switch on Marshall, wants a 3 and sticks it.
Well, you could see that one coming. You could tell Jones is getting a little itchy to squeeze one off. And anytime he's one-on-one, really doesn't matter where he is on the floor, he's a threat. And right there, showing the range with the step back, contested shot. He's a tough player, tough to guard.
He and McKnight could be really fun to watch tonight. Going back and forth guarding each other. Here's Jordan Rawls also in off the bench. Jean for 3, and a late whistle and a foul. The FIU bench wanted a flopping call against Jean, but they're not going to get it. And 3 shots coming for Jean. Not often you see 2 3-point shooters fouled in the first 6.5 minutes of a game.
Yeah, Jeremy Ballard's not going to be happy about that at all, because that was a total bailout. That's exactly the shot they wanted to give up right there. Jean taking a deep corner 3 early in the clock, contested, and him being at the foul line right now, not what you want for FIU.
Jean has only attempted 5 free throws so far this year. He's 3 out of 5 at the stripe. First-year top from Dakar, Senegal. Missed the significant majority of last season at Northwest Florida State College after tearing his ACL. And hasn't played a whole lot the last month. A little bit surprising, to be honest, to see him off the bench so early in this game. He hasn't even played 10 minutes in a game since Wright State in early December, but it looks like he might get a little more.
Here today, yeah, had some good minutes early in the year, and I think we're very pleased with him as an offensive, as a sub for Jamarian Sharp. Comes in, not the defensive presence as Sharp, but provides a little bit more punch offensively, and not making quite as many shots, and playing time certainly gone down here in these last few games, but big opportunity for him today.
He's got nice touch, especially for 6'11". You can see his release there. He's 43% 3-point shooter this year. But for a big guy, does not get to the foul line very often. Dante Allen also on for the first time for the Hilltoppers. Luke Frampton takes a seat. And Arturo Dean makes way for FIU. He's replaced by Javante Hawkins.
And West Kentucky subbing one high-level shooter for another. Allen in for Frampton. Both those guys deep range. Allen obviously not as many attempts at this point as Frampton, but he can definitely wear it out.
From the wing, off the mark from Guadarrama. Western Kentucky mishandles in the backcourt. Krvankovic was alert to it, but loses it himself. Dante Allen's on the floor and gets it away to McKnight. McKnight all the way. Had it blocked by Pinckney. Nice athletic recovery from Pinckney. He had a long way to go to get to that.
A lot of contact there. West Kentucky bench wanted a foul. Good job by McKnight forcing the issue, getting in the paint in transition, and just come up empty on that possession. Here's
Hawkins. Draws the switch on Jean. Instead goes to Guadarrama. McKnight reaching, can't get there, and Guadarrama finishes nicely.
That's the second time that we've seen West Kentucky switching defense create a mismatch. You got Guadarrama right there on that possession, backing down the smaller McKnight. He's a crafty guy, and if West Kentucky continues to switch, we'll see that more and more.
Rawls, tough take, good finish.
Boy, Rawls had some really, really good minutes down the stretch, and a huge road win at UAB the other night for the Hilltoppers. With Acott out tonight, his minutes are very, very key.
And a touch foul called on Marshall. Have not been many whistles so far in this game. That's just the second team foul against Western Kentucky. FIU's only been called for one. You mentioned it, we said at the outset, but if you're just joining us, no Emmanuel Acott tonight for Western Kentucky. The sixth-year man in his first season on the Hill after transferring from Boise State. He's averaged better than 11 points a game this year for the Tops, but he is day-to-day with a head injury and in street clothes on the Hilltoppers bench tonight. And that's a foul called on Jean on the hedge.
Yeah, a little bit late whistle, but I think that's the right call. Just a little bit too much body, which is frustrating for Coach Phil Cunningham. Is you don't want to give up a foul that far away from the basket.
So reset the shot clock to 20. Jaden Grant, the trigger man, is in off the bench for FIU. He's 5'11", the sophomore. He only played 1 minute on Wednesday against FAU. Hawkins can't get it, and Allen the rebound. You wonder if a guy who played only 1 minute Wednesday in an overtime game getting off the bench in the first 8 minutes tonight, so there's a foul. Allen bumped by Pinckney is evidence of both coaches having to reach a little bit deeper into their benches tonight, in particular FIU, after playing 45 minutes rather than 40 in each of their last 2 games. Been a good start, a little more ragged in that segment, but still a 16-16 tie midway through the first half. We're tied up just past 8 minutes into the game. Western Kentucky and FIU 16 all on a Saturday night at Bowling Green. Nate Gatter, Jay Walton back with you. Before we go any further, though, we were mentioning Emmanuel Acott and his injury situation. For more on that, let's check in with Lexi Schweiner.
Hey guys, yes, you can see Emmanuel is on the end of the bench cheering on his teammates. Again, he went out with a head injury in that Wednesday night game against UAB. He went out in the first 6 minutes. He only had 2 points before leaving. He's a huge asset to his team. In the previous game against UTSA, he had 16 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists, and 1 steal. So we're definitely missing him tonight. It's a day-to-day situation. Hopefully he'll be back in the lineup for the Monday night game against Florida Atlantic. Back to you guys.
Thank you very much, Lexi. Tied up here, Western Kentucky in possession after a flurry of quick fouls called on both teams. Still only 3 on Western Kentucky and 2 on FIU so far in the opening half. Jordan Rawls, another tough shot. This one doesn't go down for him, and Sanogo back on with a rebound. Denver Jones in transition, all the way to the rim, left it short, and Jean the rebound. Pace picking up, Allen a little too strong, and Jones recovers to grab the board. End-to-end stuff, but not a lot of buckets these last few minutes. Into the corner, John Williams Jr. too strong, and McKnight has it.
A little bit rushed on the last 2 possessions by Western. Like to see him get some quality look right here.
Rawls not shy about taking it quickly. He thought he was fouled there. Williams has options on the opposite side, goes to the rim himself, and what a finish over Tyrone Marshall.
That was tough. Nice body control, allows Florida International to set up the press.
Hilltoppers getting into a little bit of an offensive set for the first time in what feels like forever. Jean pops out. McKnight has Grant on it. 7 to shoot. And Grant strips it. Here come the Panthers, 4 on 3. Sanogo knocked away by Marshall. Allen's ahead of the pack.
Huge play. Tyrone Marshall with active hands, and Western Kentucky really could use that easy bucket right there. 4 straight possessions, a little bit of a grind offensively. Forced a couple shots, and that's a way to get yourself going offensively.
This game has been played in a really tight window. Neither team has led by more than 3. Sanogo puts the Panthers back up 2. Hilltoppers are shooting a really good percentage, 50% from the field and from deep. Haven't rebounded the ball very well, though. Allen shuffled his feet before he got hit. It's a shame for him. That probably would have been an and one otherwise, but just took that little extra shuffle of his pivot foot and turns it over. You know, Jay, to go back to Lexi's report, they said they hope to have Acott back Monday night. This is a particularly tough time in Western Kentucky's schedule to be without a key player because they're turning around to have for just one day off tomorrow, playing another game at home Monday. Then they're going to be back in action on the road Thursday and then back home the following Saturday. 4 games in 7 days, 5 in 10 days. That's just not something you get very often in college basketball. That's an NBA schedule.
That's a gauntlet of a schedule. All hands on deck needed. They would love to have Manuel Acott back by Monday night. Hopefully that young man will be okay.
Here's Grant. Williams mishandled. Works on Marshall. Tough step back. Off the heel. Sanogo did well. Just a nudge Sharp out of the way and positioned himself for that rebound. Dean works on Lander. Williams. Inside on Frampton. Had him backpedaling. Sanogo comes wide open and scores.
Great interior passing by FIU right there. Sharp goes to help, and you do not want to challenge him if at all possible. So very nice dump off pass for the assist.
Lander can't get it. Sharp way up for the rebound. Rawls has it poked away. Here come the Panthers with Williams. Hawkins wants it. Williams gets it back and an offensive foul. Luke Frampton, I don't know how he could have anticipated with the ball pinballing around like that, but he just never moved, like he was pulling Williams straight into his chest.
Yeah, dipped the shoulder just ever so slightly. Frampton able to sell it and get the call.
Well, he just got outside that restricted area as well. It almost looked like he was up on his tiptoes here, trying to make sure.
Yeah, I'm not so sure if his heels are on the floor. They're not inside that arc, but he's up on his toes, able to get the call.
Really, the charge block, I feel like it has evolved over the last 5 to 7 years. And college officials call it a lot more like NBA referees do nowadays. That pass too far out in front of Dean and a sloppy turnover by FIU. But it used to be in the college game, you pretty much had to have both your feet anchored and you had to have been fully set for a second before you got hit. Yeah. Now it's more like the NBA rule where if your upper body is facing the guy and you have that good position, and they changed the rule intentionally on this, and you take that shoulder in the chest, they don't care so much about the feet anymore.
Yeah, you're kind of rewarded. If you do a good job of moving your feet and staying in front of the offensive player, you get rewarded for holding your ground.
Hamilton physically, count it, plus the foul. You've been waiting on Jarius Hamilton, not waiting anymore. Hamilton has been quiet. That's his first bucket on his first attempt from the field. It's a good one, though, and he'll have a free throw coming on the other side of this break. FIU built it out to 4. Western Kentucky back within 2. A good first half in Bowling Green. Jay, this is exactly what we were talking about with Jarius Hamilton, that you were waiting on him to get himself a little bit more involved, thinking maybe Western Kentucky would try to draw something up for him. That's exactly what happened.
Well, I'm surprised that this is his first look. Here we are 12 minutes into the first half, and when they want to get him involved offensively, they like him in the mid-post area. And here you see him able to operate. The strength to back his defender down, elevate, show patience, elevate and score right there. Now he's got a chance to cap off the three-point play.
Hamilton at the foul line. Well, he shoots. Let's check in quickly with Lexi.
I want to update you on a milestone to watch tonight. Jamarian Sharp only needs 5 more blocks to tie the school record. Going into this game, he needed 6. He's had 1 so far this game. He leads the country in total blocks with 70. He averages 4.4 per game, but he has had 8 in a game so far this season, so 5 more is not an impossible feat for him. Back to you guys.
Certainly not. Jones off the mark and Sharp way up for the rebound. Hamilton almost got caught in transition. Chance for Western Kentucky to take the lead with a bucket. Sharp on Sanogo. Hamilton, Sharp has it blocked by Sanogo. Nicely done.
A little taste of his own medicine right there. Show him what it feels like. What he does to other offensive players every night.
Dean almost carried it. Interesting timing on that switch by the Hilltoppers. It worked okay between McKnight and Hamilton, a couple of guys who have some experience together.
Yeah, I think great communication there. Guadarrama about to back McKnight down again, as we saw a few possessions ago. Hamilton says, no, let me help you. You get back to yours.
I know you had better than a decade and a half of coaching under your belt at the college level. I don't think coaches normally tell you the time to switch is right as your man is getting the ball.
Well, to do that, you got to have a team that's in tune with one another. Takes playing with great effort, and to me, one of the hardest things to get teams to do defensively is talk to one another. That was a great job out there of Hamilton and McKnight being on the same page.
Hamilton took a big bump on the cut and another one on the pivot and still scored.
Great job moving without the ball that time by Hamilton off the shuffle cut screen and delivered the pass. Great catch in traffic by Hamilton.
You can get physical on those off-ball cuts across the key. Jones, good back cut. Frampton took the hit. That was an easy call.
He was there that time. He earned that one.
Jones did not slow down even a little bit, and Frampton is feeling it. Maybe not popping up as fast as he did 5 or 6 years ago starting his college career.
Heads up back cut by Jones, and just Frampton there to take away the great offensive play.
It's only the 5th team foul against FIU, and 2 of them have been Luke Frampton charges.
Now FIU going to show a 1-2-2 press alignment. Just a man press, and Western wisely going to clear out. Now a little run and jump. Got to get somebody to the middle of the floor if you're Western.
Frampton almost bobbled it badly enough to cost himself getting over the timeline. Just got there in time. Hilltoppers have scored 5 straight. Lander is like this right wing. Wants to drive on Sanogo, sets up Frampton. He's doing it at both ends.
Great presence of mind to know that the shot clock is winding down. Heads up pass by Lander to find Frampton in the corner. He's always ready to shoot. That's what I love about Frampton, is he doesn't need much time because he's always prepared.
McKnight in transition, takes some contact, can't get it. Guadarrama has it ripped away by McKnight, blocked by Sanogo. He wanted a goaltend but didn't get it. Jamarian Sharp at the other end, by the way, had at least one more of those blocks he needs, maybe 2. I couldn't tell if Kravakovic's was a shot or a pass. It looked like it tipped off Sharp either way.
You're the scorekeeper. You got to give him that, right? Chasing this record, go and give him 2.
For now, they only gave him 1 on that possession. We'll see. Jones on the tough shot, knocked out of bounds, last off of Sharp, and FIU will keep it.
Tough shot by Jones. Not that he can't make that, because we've seen him make it plenty of times. But if you're Western, I think you live with that. If he wants to take those all day long, he makes a few great, but he's not going to make enough of those to beat you throughout the course of the afternoon.
Only 3 points for Jones, who scored at least 20 in 5 straight games coming in. FIU hasn't scored for almost 4 minutes. That was a big collision. A late whistle, surprisingly so, because McKnight really slashed his arm down. He might have gotten a lot of the ball, but you have to think that's going to be called 99 times out of 100. Guys have gotten better to it, kind of throwing the head back a little bit on that one. Make sure you sell it. FIU had gone up 4 points at 22-18. It was the largest lead of the game for either team. Western Kentucky has rattled off 8 in a row over the last 2:48 of game time. Frampton couldn't get there. Kravakovic for Dean, over Sharp, and he sticks it. He hesitated when he saw Sharp closing out, thought maybe he was going to change his mind. Nice looking shot from Dean, his first 3-point attempt. Or second, I should say, of the night, and he's hit both.
I'm about to say, that's really not his deal. Hit 2 already tonight. If that young man gets a 3-point shot going, he's hard to guard, because he is a very good change of pace, loves to get in the paint. Again, they're maybe their second best option offensively behind Jones at the moment.
Foul on the rebound called on Jones, and that could be significant. That's his second after the charge into Frampton a couple of minutes ago. So 4:43 still to go until the half, and FIU's leading scorer has picked up 2 fouls. But to your point, Dean only a 19% three-point shooter this year. Normally that's not something you have to guard too tight with him.
Like a lot of freshmen, though, probably a little bit streaky, you know, settling into it a little bit.
Yeah, probably some guys who are 40% in practice and 20% in the game early on. Lander, good drive. He's played really well in this first half. That's 8 points for Lander, who only averages 4 a night for the season.
Hit 2 long-range shots already there, showing the ability to get in the paint. Nice finish off the glass.
We talked about how important he was going to be tonight for the Hilltoppers. He has stepped up in a big way. Good little shake and bake by Kravakovic, but he couldn't get it off in time. Frampton recovered beautifully.
Frampton with the Jamarian Sharp impersonation.
Hamilton triggers the 3 and Kravakovic the rebound. Jarius, a 37% three-point shooter. FIU really left him open, but they go unpunished. He's Guadarrama working on Hamilton. He's been good in this mid-post area, and he's fouled. Talked about Sharp getting a little bit of his own medicine from Sonogo. How about Guadarrama giving Hamilton a little bit of his, working in on that mid-post.
Both those guys had taken turns backing each other down in the paint.
And he will shoot 2 when we get back. Western Kentucky by 3 with 3:44 to go.
Welcome back into Diddle Arena. Very close game going on right now. FIU has had an exciting week 2 with some conference honors. Denver Jones, the 6'4" sophomore guard, was named the Conference USA Player of the Week. He averaged 24.5 points per game in those first 2 conference wins. Also, the youngster on the team, Arturo Dean, was named the Conference USA Freshman of the Week. He's also averaging 15.5 points per game in those first 2 conference wins as well. Great job, FIU. Back to you guys.
28-25, the Western Kentucky lead. Jones has been kept largely in check by the Hilltoppers so far, but Dean, as we talked about, has shot the ball well, and as a result has helped keep FIU in this game, one that they led 22-18 at one point. Western Kentucky stormed back to take a 4-point lead of its own, and now ahead by 3 with Guadarrama going to the free throw line. A 57% free throw shooter. Grad transfer who was 3-time first-team All-America East at the University of New Hampshire. And I would think there are a lot of reasons why one might say, you know, I've had a great year, a great career at the University of New Hampshire, but I might like a season in Miami.
January, February in Miami, you got to be a lot better than January, February in New Hampshire, right? He's kind of a utility guy for the Panthers. Does a little bit of everything. Not the quickest guy, but somehow finds a way to get a step and get to the basket. Not the most athletic, but somehow finds a way to score around the basket. Not the best shooter, but makes timely shots. He's definitely their 3rd option offensively.
Good cut by Tyrone Marshall. Jarius Hamilton's doing a lot of the dirty work for Western so far tonight. Offensive rebound and a good find.
They love the motor that Tyrone Marshall brings to the table. Plays so hard off the bench, settling into a role, trying to figure out what his skill set is offensively, but always playing hard. That's how I'm on the other end, picking up the garbage bucket. Something to keep an eye on. You know, usually Western Kentucky, you can look at the stat sheet, and they're always going to have more free throw attempts than their opponents. So far, not the case in this game. I'd like to see the Hilltoppers be more aggressive, especially in transition. Get some stops on the defensive end, get out and run, get the ball in McKnight's hands in the middle of the floor, fill some lanes, and let him make some things happen, get to the basket, create some pressure on this FIU defense.
So Dean splits the pair, one of a few young Panthers out of Putnam Science Academy, and he's had really quite a consistent freshman campaign. That's how he's ended up averaging a dozen a game. He's scored at least 8 in all but 1 game, and even in that one he had 6. Hasn't had one of those 0 for 9s you sometimes see from a freshman. Kravakovic just snuck up on Hamilton, who grabbed him going after the loose ball. And the foul goes on Hamilton. I think Kravakovic thought the foul was getting called on him. He was looking at the ref, already upset.
Yeah. If you're Luke Frampton right there as the shooter, your man leaves to go double Hamilton. Give him a heads up. That's what you want. If your guy leaves, you're wide open in the corner. Somebody's got to let Hamilton know after that first or second dribble, here comes the help. I'm open.
It's especially risky play from Krvakovic's standpoint of all guys to leave to go for the surprise double. If Hamilton's alerted to that.
Yeah, Frampton definitely not the guy. I would probably do if I'm going to, with this lineup on the floor right now for Western Kentucky, I'm doubling off of Tyrone Marshall and not Luke Frampton, but they got away with it that time.
Krvakovic has shot well at the free throw line so far. He's made all 4 in the first half tonight. This will be the 9th free throw attempt, to your point, Jay, that FIU has had tonight, just 4 for Western Kentucky. It's amazing how quickly the points can add up if you just hit every free throw. 5 for 5 for Krvakovic tonight, and it's a 1-point game.
First time we've seen zone from FIU in the half court.
Risky with the shooting that the Hilltoppers have on the floor, but no Frampton on this possession. Maybe that's part of it. Tops taking their time. Rawls hits his first 3 of the season. He was 0 for 14 from deep, no more.
Yeah, I think if you're FIU and you jump in the zone and you think, okay, we're going to give up a 3 to Jordan Rawls, you're okay with that, but he made him pay.
Guadarrama works on Marshall. Sanogo out for Dean. Over Sharp, couldn't get it, and Sharp clears the glass. It's his 3rd rebound of the night. The pass behind Lander and out of bounds. Each team has had a couple of those just sloppy turnovers in transition.
And there was that transition opportunity we were just talking about. There's a great chance there to get an easy bucket for the Hilltoppers and come up empty there with the turnover. Sloppy play.
Yeah, we talked about Western Kentucky keeping Denver Jones, who's returned to the game now largely in check. Well, FIU has done the same to Davion McKnight. He has the 1 3-pointer, but he's 1 for 5 from the field in this first half. Couple of rebounds, couple of assists. Not bad, but numbers that Jeremy Ballard will absolutely take. Lob for Sanogo. Krvakovic for 3. That looked good out of his hand, but Sharp ends up with a rebound. Final 90 seconds of the half. McKnight skips it for Lander. Loose, Sharp the rebound, wants to go back up, but brought it too low, and Guadarrama sneaks in to rip it away. That's exactly what you're talking about, just right place, right time.
Heads up, and if Jamarian keeps that ball above his chest, he's got himself a dunk right there. I think he was already thinking about throwing it down.
Jones over Sharp. Sanogo couldn't grab it. The Hilltoppers can run out now. Lander. See if Rawls wants another one. He tried to go to McKnight. It's another turnover for Western Kentucky. That's 3 straight turnovers. They have 11 now in the first half.
Very uncharacteristic. They usually do not turn the ball over very much. They get quality shots, most possessions down the floor offensively. And like I said, just a little bit sloppy end of the first half here for Western.
Here's Dean. Krvakovic checks the shot clock. He has 7 seconds. Guadarrama, deep 3, way short. And Western Kentucky can hold for the final shot of the half with a 4-point lead.
I'd love to get a 3rd foul on Denver Jones if I'm Phil Cunningham right now. I don't know if Lander's the guy you want to set up to drive the ball to the basket, but Jones cannot afford a 3rd foul right here to end the half.
Nice look on the back cut to Marshall, who finishes the reverse. Half-court shot from Dean off the mark, and Western Kentucky will take a 6-point lead to the half. It was tight, really, this entire 20 minutes, Jay. That's the largest lead for either team going into halftime.
Yeah, nip and tuck all the way. Neither team really able to separate. A heads-up pass right there. Patience by Davion McKnight getting in the paint and find the cutting Marshall for the bucket near the end of the half.
Western Kentucky trailed by as many as 4 in the opening 20 minutes. The Tops take a 6-point lead into the break in Bowling Green.
Welcome back into Diddle Arena. Rick Stansbury is again out tonight. We've been talking about it throughout this entire game. He has released a video message updating fans and the community on his health status. He didn't release an exact diagnosis, but he says he is getting ready to return as soon as his doctors clear him. Something I thought is really cool is his son, Noah Stansbury, is on the team. He's a redshirt sophomore. Usually he sits at the end of the bench, but he's since been moved up to the front of the bench. Obviously the team is rallying around Stansbury's son as they go through this. The team has faced so much adversity with Stansbury missing 5 games, but it seems like they're really playing through this. What do you guys think?
Yeah, certainly, Lexi. It's been great to see the program kind of rally around Coach Stansbury, and I know everybody thinking of him, and something that has seems like it's a rallying point for this team, certainly as they're starting to have more success now under Phil Cunningham. And based on what Rick Stansbury said in that video released today on social media by Western Kentucky, Jay, even though there hasn't been a lot of information released, and he acknowledged that that he is moving in the right direction, and they're optimistic about having him back before too long. Yeah,
to hear that he's on his way back soon is great news. Our thoughts are with him for sure, in a full recovery, and his lovely wife Mio. And you know, it's the life of a college basketball coach can be a grind in January, February, especially when you're healthy, even when you're healthy. So we certainly want him to get his health status improved 100% before he comes back. And it helps to have a guy like Phil Cunningham sitting on your bench who's been through a little bit of everything and is assistant coach, has head coach experience in this league. So Tops are in great hands with Coach Cunningham. Wishing Coach Stansbury best wishes for a full recovery soon.
And I did like Lexi's observation. Funny to have a Stansbury still keeping that seat warm, at least until Rick is back on the sideline with the Tops. The Jones on McKnight matchup. We'll have our eye on that early on in this second half. And there is Jones right away off the heel. Hamilton, another good rebound, and he just keeps that ball moving.
A pretty good look there by Jones coming out of the half. You know he wants to get going offensively. Wasn't able to knock that down, but a good sign for him to get a quality shot early in the half.
Jarius Hamilton off the mark. Jamarian Sharp goes over Sonogo. McKnight all the way to the rim. Poor Mohamed Sonogo, he's looking around saying nobody else should be able to get that ball over me without it being a foul. Jones goes into Frampton. This time it is a block. That's a big call. That would have been number 3 on Denver Jones just a minute into the second half.
Yeah, Frampton always looking for that opportunity to take a charge. Got 2 already this evening and not able to get the call there, but I like where his head is.
Meanwhile, for Jones, this could be a good chance to see the ball go through the bucket a couple of times.
Well, when you're struggling offensively, that's the best way to get it going. Get yourself to the foul line, get a couple easy opportunities, put pressure on that defense.
He is an exceptional free throw shooter. 53% from the field, 42% from 3, 89% at the line. That is awfully close to the hallowed ground of 50, 40, 90, which you do not see in the college, anywhere very often, especially not in the college game.
No, not very many. That is certainly the gold standard for a shooter.
Extremely rare miss. Split the pair. FIU has not been particularly clinical at the line tonight. Not bad, 8 of 11. Western Kentucky has made all 4 of its attempts, but not getting there nearly as often as normal. Hamilton to Sharp, perfectly executed, nobody around him.
You could tell that play right there was discussed at halftime. We're going to run that early in the second half. Very, very good execution by the Tops right there. Easy dunk for Sharp.
Hamilton's done a little bit of everything. 5 points, 6 boards, 3 assists for him. Jones, little bump, nice finish on the floater. And Luke Frampton is really hurting coming the other way. I didn't see what happened away from the ball, but he is favoring his left leg. Also kind of shaking things out. He says he's okay. He's gesturing to the bench. He's going to be fine.
I don't know if he stepped on a foot and rolled an ankle or banged knees, but says he's okay. Adrenaline will get him through this half. He'll feel it in the morning, though.
Yeah, I didn't see what happened there at all. Must have been away from the basketball.
Another opportunity for a set play for West Kentucky right here. I'd like to see Hamilton get a touch.
Poor Luke Frampton, he's taking that pass, still trying to get somebody to tell him what the play is. He had no idea what had been called. Lander comes to get it, had 8 in the first half. Really balanced attack from the Hilltoppers. Sharp on the offensive glass, has it blocked by Sanogo, but a foul on Guadarrama, who was the initial defender. And Sharp will go to the free throw line for the first time tonight.
Second offensive rebound for Sharp already this half. I love his activity on the glass, creating extra opportunities. First one he got led to a layup by Davion McKnight. This one, he's going to go to the line and earn 2.
8 rebounds for him to go with 4 points. He's also had a couple of blocks. 4 more to get himself to the Western Kentucky career record. Only about 50 games with the Hilltoppers. He's got a nice soft release for a big guy. Left that one well short. He gets 1 of 2, just about his season average at 53%. But you will see him step away into the mid-range occasionally. Here's Dean. Wiggles on Lander. Puts on the brakes. Opens up Sanogo. That was all about the dribble penetration from Arturo Dean.
Just very good job. Very tight handle there. Gets in the paint. When you get in the paint as a guard, creates problems for the defense. That time, again, able to draw Sharp away on the help, looking for the block. Leads to the easy dunk.
Frampton off the mark on another 3. He's hit just 1 out of 5 tonight. Dean attacks. Guadarrama left open. Line drive 3 is short. Jones finds Dean, wants another one. And landed the rebound. Here comes McKnight in transition. Tough floater goes down. That's what we're used to see for Davion McKnight.
When he gets downhill like that in transition, very, very hard to stop. Just has great body control when he gets in the paint, able to finish through contact. Great touch around the basket. Good sign for Western Kentucky right there to see him get going in transition.
7 for McKnight now. Guadarrama on Lander, lob for Sanogo. McKnight and Sharp clatter over. The ball's still loose underneath. Jones goes up, can't get it. And Western Kentucky in transition after Sharp's 3rd block.
Never even left the floor to block that shot. To block that one flat-footed. He wants the ball inside against a smaller Guadarrama.
McKnight starting to feel it a little bit. That one just off the mark. Dean did a good job just to bother him on the gather. Coming over with a little swipe. Sometimes that can be just as good as getting the real contest up with a hand in the face. Sanogo has 2 on him on the baseline and a foul called perhaps against Frampton. We'll see. Either way, it's going to take us to a timeout. It is Luke Frampton who picks up the foul, his 2nd personal. Western Kentucky leads by 8 early in the second half. Western Kentucky leads 42-34 over FIU with 15:52 to go in our second half from Bowling Green here tonight. Had some close games around the conference in particular this week, in particular on Wednesday night. And for more on that, let's go over to Lexi.
Yeah, guys, it was a crazy night for Conference USA on Wednesday. 4 out of those 5 games either ended in 1 possession or in overtime. FIU's game against their in-state rival FAU was one of those crazy games, ended in overtime. FIU was looking to snap the 2nd longest winning streak in college basketball. FAU has a 14-game winning streak against the Panthers. I'm sure they really wanted to snap that, but they'll look for it next time. I'll send it back to you guys.
Yeah, I don't know that an overtime loss is ever not painful, Jay, but in particular against an in-state rival, and then on top of that, a 14th straight loss for the Panthers to the Owls. It was right there for them.
Tough to swallow. Hard to, yes, whenever I was coaching and we lost a game, I would tell my guys that, you know, the best thing about basketball is you don't have to wait another week to play. You get another chance, and, you know, certainly is the case, is they're back on the road here today.
Dean, nice floater. Mid-range, and FIU keeping it close, but Western Kentucky has been largely unthreatened since building that lead out a little bit. Tops have led by as many as 9. FIU hasn't been on top since the 7:59 mark of the first half. McKnight, just always so patient, couldn't get it to drop, grabs his own miss, and Hamilton's pass deflected by Jones. Lander hustling in transition, couldn't steal it, but knocks it out of bounds and prevents what should have been an easy bucket for the Panthers.
You know, you love to see that, and the turnover and the hustle to negate that. Takes away the easy layup right there for the Panthers.
I think Lander's been really good tonight.
Absolutely. You love to see a young man get stepping into a tough spot with Acott being out and first start of the year, and he's capitalizing.
He's played 20 minutes tonight. Only Davion McKnight has more for the Tops. Guadarrama works on Hamilton. Dean straight away. Sharp goes up for the rebound, his 9th. That's one of the things coaches will occasionally say as the silver lining of an injury in the middle part of the season. If you can get one of those bench pieces to get more action, it can sometimes make that guy a bigger asset down the stretch, getting into money time of the season in March. Guadarrama, good look at a 3, and he hits it down to a 3-point Western Kentucky lead. I wonder if Rick Stansbury would say the same about his absence. Phil Cunningham's getting some good reps. They might need him, in March.
That's right. That's right.
I think Phil's had a few reps already as a head coach in his career.
No doubt.
Not his first rodeo.
Nobody more prepared for this situation than Phil Cunningham would be. And while we hope that Rick Stansbury will be back soon, the program's in great hands.
Lander goes to Allen, has to hurry, got to get something up. Look at the back cut by McKnight, who took a big hit and didn't get a call. Shot clock violation on Western Kentucky. I don't know if the referees were anticipating the violation, but Davion McKnight got hammered.
Yeah, he's still down.
And that's a foul.
Yeah, that's a lot of contact right there. And these officials hearing it from the Hilltopper crowd right now.
The referees are talking it over unless what they say is the shot clock had already expired before the foul, which I don't think it had based on the buzzer. That is a clear foul.
If that's the case, it should be Western ball, right?
So they're going to go and review. So that makes me think maybe they're saying this will be a foul unless. We'll see. We haven't gotten any official communication yet, so that's just speculation. But otherwise, I don't know what they're going to go and see if the ball hit the rim. So no foul is on the table here. The question is just whether the shot clock reset, and then I guess perhaps it was out off of FIU, and Western Kentucky would get a fresh 20 seconds on the shot clock.
Well, it was a heads-up backdoor cut by McKnight just to give him that opportunity because Dante Allen was dead. He had no shot. Made a great pass, and I think that ball did hit the rim. It maybe as a reset, but
yeah, we'll have to see what the referees can come up with. We're working on seeing if we can get you a good look at it and tell if this shot hit the rim. Let's see. Yeah, it looks like it does just take a little tip off of the rim there. Definitely. And that might have been off Guadarrama. Although Hamilton's going to save it. So, and I guess Hamilton didn't get a touch. So Western Kentucky's going to keep the ball. That's some consolation. But I think clearly, Jay, when the officials see that replay, they'll say, yeah, that was a foul.
Yeah, McKnight going to go to the bench for a little bit. So let's hope that's not a serious injury.
So the official ruling is that it was an inadvertent whistle that shouldn't have come because of the ball hitting the rim. So the referees missed that one, but went back and corrected it. Allen tied up by Guadarrama, and the possession arrow will keep it at this end. So in some ways, Western Kentucky now on a third possession and only gotten one shot up there.
Huge minutes right now for Jordan Rawls, the backup point guard with McKnight on the bench. He was really, really good down the stretch at UAB the other night. Tough turnover right there, though.
Dean, really impressive Euro step in the paint. He gets it, plus the foul on Allen. Or perhaps that was Lander clattering there down into our cameraman on the baseline. Everybody's okay. But Dean gets it to go, plus the foul. What a move in transition from him. Not a long strider, but he made him count.
Yeah, he showed a great burst. He's really, really good in the open floor game right there. Just got downhill, able to finish through the contact. Heads up play by the freshman.
Dean converts it, so FIU has scored 8 in a row over the last 2 minutes, in large part because of 3 Western Kentucky turnovers in the last 3, and we're tied up again.
They were in the danger zone there for a minute, down 8, and Western Kentucky had a couple opportunities to stretch that lead out. And ill-advised turnovers allowing the Panthers to get right back in it.
Sharp got a good touch. He hasn't had many of those clean catches in the post, and just that one maybe slipped out of his hand.
Yeah, you don't see Western going to him very often as a post-up threat. It's just not his deal.
Guadarrama against Marshall. Backs him all the way in. Goes for the Nowitzki fall away. Pinckney on the weak side. Couldn't get it. Hawkins goes to Dean. Only starter along with Guadarrama on the floor at the moment for FIU. Williams attacks on Sharp. Still got it to the rim, but Allen the rebound. Western Kentucky has not scored for more than 4 minutes. Allen for 3. Long rebound, Lander. Poked away off of his leg, and FIU takes it back. What a response for the Panthers. 18:49 to go in this half. Western Kentucky went up by 9. Only 6 minutes later on the game clock, and the Panthers have come all the way back.
Yeah, Western not able to stretch that lead out a little bit. Turnovers, a couple of turnovers by Western has led it to some transition opportunities.
And those turnovers have been a story, as we've talked about. Jay, Lexi, you have more on that?
Yes, guys, FIU has a lot of turnovers per game. They actually rank 22nd in the NCAA in turnovers. They average around 16 per game. We just saw that in that play when it was 42-39. WKU still leading. FIU got that turnover, turned it around, ended up tying it up now where we sit at 42. They have great athleticism on defense.
Yeah, Western Kentucky has been forced into 15 turnovers. Thanks, Lexi. Tied up with almost 12 minutes now remaining in the game. Williams swatted by Marshall. I know you like that work rate, Jay, of Marshall at the defensive end. He showed it there, moving his feet.
Quick off the floor and avoid the foul. Really good defense there. Individual defense by Tyrone Marshall.
So now FIU, one of these late clock situations, have to trigger with 3 seconds. That's a good look. Jones can't get it, and Marshall the rebound.
Well, that's just too easy a look for their best player. Western really dodging a bullet on that possession right there. Got to fight through that screen a little bit harder if you're guarding Denver Jones.
Jordan Rawls tried the fall away. Williams blocks it. FIU on the run out. 2-on-1. Hawkins pass Lander, can't finish. That was the lead for the Panthers, but Dean cleans it up, and FIU on a 10-0 run takes the lead by 2.
Coach Cunningham trying to settle things down here. Really big possession for Western. He's going to call a set play. Let's see which Hilltopper number gets called right here, because they could really, really use a bucket.
Western Kentucky hasn't scored a single point for 5.5 minutes. The Tops have missed their last 6 from the field. Marshall lost it. Another Western Kentucky turnover. That's number 16. Long ball for Sanogo, who jams on Lander. Timeout, Phil Cunningham. It's been a long time coming. 12 straight for FIU, and the Panthers lead it by 4. What a response on the road. FIU trying to get back to 500 in conference. They've got it coming in your living room. FIU up by 4. FIU on a 12-0 run. The Panthers lead it 46-42, in part because Western Kentucky has not scored for almost 6 minutes, Jay. In part because Western Kentucky has turned the ball over 5 times in that span, but maybe in the biggest part because of what the Panthers have done in transition after those turnovers.
Well, you see the Marshall drive there, just trying to do a little bit too much, leads to an open floor opportunity. Big man runs the floor, gets rewarded, great finish, and that's what's happened. 17 points FIU has off of Western Kentucky's turnovers, and it seems like a good many of those have come within this last couple minutes where they've gone on a nice run to get themselves not only back in the game but to take the lead. So big stretch for Western Kentucky right now as they face a little bit of full court pressure. Coach Phil Cunningham wanting to settle his guys down in that timeout, and let's see who we go to here offensively if you're Western Kentucky to settle things down offensively and get a bucket.
McKnight back on the floor after he took that hard hit a couple of minutes ago. Drives on Dean all the way to the rim, has it blocked. Still nothing for Western, more than 6 minutes.
Good play design. I think that's what they like to get, is McKnight isolate on the side. He got the step, but just not able to elevate high enough to finish. Good defensive play there by FIU.
Panthers, it feels like when they have then been in the half court, they've been a little more deliberate in this second half so far. Sanogo had the mismatch on McKnight. Pass deflected. Dean rejected by Marshall. His second block shot late in the shot clock in the second half. That'll take us right back to another break at the under 12. 46-42 is FIU's lead.
Welcome back into Diddle Arena. Obviously a very close game here tonight. The lead has switched multiple times, has been tied multiple times. FIU has seemed to gain some momentum. Let's talk a little bit about their head coach, Jeremy Ballard. This season, he's moved into the second all-time in D1 wins in school history with 71 wins. He passed Anthony Davis's 65 wins, who coached before Ballard from 2013 to 2018. He's also a graduate of Colgate. He graduated in '03, played basketball there too. Send it back to you guys.
Thanks, Lexi. Certainly Jeremy Ballard has overall been pretty successful at FIU compared to just the 65 wins for Davis over his prior tenure. And this would be a big win for the Panthers. Dean, tough shot, but they've done a good job in the late shot clock underneath situations. They've had a couple of them in this second half and gotten 2 good looks, even if they haven't gone down.
That was a great design right there. Not many times you see a lob play for your point guard, but that works. Just not able to get it to go down, but a very nice execution on out of bounds play.
First three-pointer of the night for Jarius Hamilton, and FIU's sort of been letting him take that shot, so you wonder if he could heat up, if that could force the Panthers to adjust their defensive game plan.
Huge bucket for him, and I see, that's only his 5th field goal attempt of the night, and down the stretch offensively here, I think he needs to be more involved for Western Kentucky.
Turnover by Williams. Sort of an unforced error by FIU. That's only the 9th Panthers turnover against 16 for Western Kentucky. Big part of the reason that the Panthers have attempted an extra 5 shots. As Western Kentucky has stabilized on the glass. Early on, FIU had a surprising rebounding advantage. That's no longer the case. Western Kentucky +5 on the boards. And a foul called away for the ball against Dean.
Now this is the set you saw Western Kentucky go to time and time again on the road at UAB in their midweek win. Davion McKnight isolated on a side, backing his man down. He's very low to the ground. He's very physical. And that time took advantage of the freshman able to draw the foul. But that's where they ran their offense through him all night the other night on the road at UAB. Came away with a huge win.
He had a massive game, even by his standards, 27 points. Shot 10 of 21 for the field, made 3 3-pointers, only missed 1 of them. Rawls bumped, and he will go to the free throw line. Not bad defense by Guadarrama, just got a little too tight to him and hit him on the arm.
They got the switch right there. Hamilton, I would have liked to see Jarius Hamilton roll to the bucket right there. He had the smaller defender in Javante Hawkins on him, and so instead of the post-up opportunity right there, you get Rawls, who, again, that's a mismatch for him with Guadarrama trying to keep him in front, and he settles for the jump shot. It's really a bailout by FIU there defensively on that contested jump shot.
So 4 straight for Western to tie things up. Hilltoppers had gone almost 6.5 minutes without a bucket before Hamilton drained that 3. Seemed like he had made up his mind, too. He was going to put it up next time he touched the ball, because that looked like one of those where he didn't even really care to know where the defense was. So Rawls splits them. Tie game with 9 to go. Dean, good move. It's a deep 2, and Marshall goes way up for the rebound. He has bounce. McKnight cleared out on Hawkins, draws a double. Extra pass to Marshall. Way too strong. McKnight pulls away the rebound, a held ball. The crowd can't believe it at Diddle Arena. They've been getting more and more frustrated in this second half. I think some of that might still be the pent-up frustration from McKnight's contact, no foul earlier in the half.
Yeah, they, again, McKnight going to the post up, back his guy down. That time forced a double team and a couple of nice rotations, but I don't think Western Kentucky wants that ball rotating to Tyrone Marshall for the threes right there. I think if that's Luke Frampton, that's exactly what you want. Tyrone Marshall might want to think about a shot fake drive to the bucket in that situation. We'll see how FIU continues to guard that ISO post up by McKnight.
Sanogo, his second dunk of the half, and FIU back in front. To be fair to the officials, based on that replay, I think that probably was a good held ball call. If anything, McKnight was kind of on the back of Hawkins.
Yeah, they're on the other end of the floor, no sharp on the floor, so the Panthers not scared at all to attack the rim, able to get it inside for the easy two.
Rawls and Hamilton, little two-man game. Rawls works on Hawkins, gets into his chest and scores. That did 360 degrees on the rim. It might have done 720. Jordan Rawls will have a free throw on the other side to tie the game for Western Kentucky. Had the smaller Hawkins, goes right into his chin. Count it, plus the foul. Western Kentucky and FIU have been tight pretty much the whole way. The Hilltoppers got it out to as many as 9 early in the second half, but we're tied up again with 7:56 to go. Nate Gatter, Jay Walton back with you at Diddle Arena, and Jay, Jordan Rawls, a big bucket here before the break.
Yeah, Jordan Rawls, we mentioned the other night on the road at UAB, huge minutes down the stretch. Has not been particularly great this afternoon, has 4 turnovers in his roll off the bench, but that time right there, got in the paint, was not going to be denied, and just overpowered Hawkins there on the finish, going to the line for the three-point play.
Sometimes when coaches talk about guys who are can make contested shots, it's kind of a backhanded compliment because it implies maybe you're taking some that aren't too great, but it is a trait that's nice, especially late in the shot clock like that. Jordan Rawls just sort of like Davion McKnight. When you get in the paint, he just doesn't seem to care where his defender is.
No, and you just got to have guards that can go do that at the end of the shot clock when whatever you drew up as a coach is not working. It's more about the players on the floor going to make something happen, and you saw Rawls do it just right there.
Yeah, coach maybe says, Jordan, I don't know if that was a great shot. And he says, Coach, I don't know if that was a great set. So we both
1-3-1 trap for the first time for Western Kentucky out of that timeout. Just a different look here. And now they'll match back up.
It's been a while since Western Kentucky had gone on top. Jones trying to work free. Guadarrama sticks it deep 2. And FIU back in front. You talked about it. Guadarrama, not a great shooter and doesn't have a great line tonight, but he's hit some timely ones.
Yeah, he did that the other night in a huge win against UAB at home. And he's one of those guys that has the fewer minutes are on the clock, probably the better his percentages are. Not scared of the moment.
McKnight doing the same thing. Get in the paint, contested floater.
That's his game. Getting to his spots off the dribble and elevating with that left hand. A little bit unorthodox, but that's mid-range game's been a staple of his offensive repertoire for years.
Another offensive foul on Denver Jones. It's his 3rd foul. 2 of them have been on the offensive end of the floor. He's been limited still to just 6 points on 2 of 9 shooting.
Yeah, I give him credit for, things haven't gone his way today offensively. He's not tried to force the issue too much, not taking a lot of bad shots, not driving too deep in the paint. Obviously there picked up the offensive foul trying to make something happen, but he's the kind of guy that he might miss a lot of shots so far, but down the stretch he'll still be the go-to guy.
Luke Frampton makes it a 4-point Western Kentucky lead again.
Very, very timely shot by Frampton.
It's a big possession now for the Panthers. Dean has been the guy for them tonight. Lob to Sanogo, had to come down, back up, and he's blocked by Tyrone Marshall. McKnight in transition, all the way in on Dean. 6-point lead for the Tops. Timeout, Jeremy Ballard. Western Kentucky went 6.5 minutes without a basket. They just ran off a 7-0 run in under a minute.
Well, usually the Western Kentucky fast break is started by Jamarian Sharp block. That time on that possession, it was Jarius Hamilton that ignited the offense. Get the ball to your best guard, Davey McKnight, getting downhill in transition, acrobatic finish, and Roof ready to blow off this place here in Diddle Arena.
Yeah, they've been waiting to cheer for a little while, it felt like, and that gave them the opportunity. The three from Frampton, they got loud on that defensive possession, and McKnight didn't make them wait too long for another bucket. He's actually the first Hilltopper into double figures. He has 11 points. Been a really balanced effort. Hamilton has 8. Rawls has added 9. Luke Frampton now has 6. Meanwhile, for FIU, we mentioned Denver Jones limited to just the 6 points. That would be his lowest total of the season. He's only been kept out of double figures once, and it was on the road against FGCU back on December the 4th. But he had 6 points on 2 of 8 shooting. Other than that, he's had at least a dozen in every game, and he's had 20 plus more often than he hasn't. So this is some defensive effort from the Tops on Jones.
Yeah, I thought we might see the 1-3-1 again out of the timeout like we did last time by the Toppers, but straight to the man. And interesting, no Sharp on the floor. Biggest defensive possession of the game, and your shot blocker's still on the bench. So obviously Coach Phil Cunningham thinking more offensive-minded down the stretch right now than defensively.
Foul called on the drive, no shot. That's the 4th on Denver Jones. 5:54 still to go, and who knows, maybe the possibility of a 3rd straight FIU game to go to overtime.
Normally don't see Davey McKnight and Jordan Rawls on the floor together. Usually it's Rawls coming off the bench to spell McKnight, but with no Emmanuel Acott in the lineup today for Western Kentucky, Coach Cunningham electing to go with a better ball handling lineup. You got both of those guys, and then you've seen it on the last 2 possessions, one with McKnight, that time with Rawls, forcing the issue in transition and drawing the foul.
Really interesting lineups on the floor for both teams right now. Both Sunogo's just come back on, but they've both generally gone quite small. Jarius Hamilton at 6'8" is the tallest Hilltopper on the court, and Sunogo at 6'9" for FIU. Frampton has the 1-1 with Western now in the bonus. But this is an interesting adjustment from Phil Cunningham. After that run from FIU, we've seen him go small here.
And I would think hard if it was Coach Cunningham about a zone right here, because even if FIU scores, typically may take them a little bit longer to work the ball around and get a quality shot against the zone here. Under 6 minutes, 8-point lead, maybe take the air out of the ball a little bit.
Now the Panthers have not shot the 3 well since the early going. Knocked out of bounds by Rawls. FIU keeps it. FIU is 5 out of 18, 28% from the 3-point arc tonight.
Yeah, and Denver Jones with that 4th foul has to go to the bench for just a bit. So your biggest offensive weapon, the guy that you need right now is a go-to guy to get a bucket on the bench right now. So let's see what the freshman Dean can get done on this possession for FIU.
3 ball on the way short from Kravakovic. Still loose. Dean lobs to Sunogo. Hamilton got up for it, and the Tops can run. Tyrone Marshall.
Yeah, wisely slowed it down right there. I think we all thought about maybe pulling the trigger, but good idea. Here comes a double team.
And Dean able to come away with a steal. Kravakovic gets ahead and spots up. Dean bumped by Frampton and a foul. That's Frampton's 3rd. And it's only the 5th against Western Kentucky, so yeah, FIU's not in the bonus yet.
Smart foul by Frampton right there to give the foul in the open floor. Got fouls to give. It's going to be an easy bucket.
5 minutes to go. How long, if you were Jeremy Ballard, do you feel like you can wait before bringing Denver Jones back into this game?
You got to start thinking maybe sub offense for defense, but next time I get the ball, I've got to have him on the floor. Under 5 minutes now.
There's Hawkins. Dean with 7 to shoot, slashes to the rim. Hamilton grabbed the rim. That should be basket interference. I think the official on the baseline called a foul underneath, but that should be a bucket for FIU. I don't think Hamilton meant to do it, but he went up and grabbed the ball.
Good
and they
call.
are going to count the basket. It's the downside of being able to get up that high. Sometimes you accidentally grab the rim.
So do we also get a foul on the play? So this is a chance for a three-point play for Dean. I think they called a foul on the shot attempt, and the basket's good because Hamilton touched the rim.
Wow, so they're going to combine the two calls. Essentially, both refs calls stand. The basket's good, and Dean has an opportunity now for the three-point play. He's had quite the night, 16 points. He's added 8 rebounds as well. Would you believe that? He's 5'11" freshman who's had easily leading his team in rebounds.
You know, the most impressive thing about Dean, too, played a lot of minutes tonight as a freshman, 0 turnovers.
Wow. Rawls on the run out. It's a good look, couldn't get it. Guadarrama the rebound. Chance for FIU to cut it a little bit closer. Dean all the way for 2. 4 quick ones for Arturo Dean, and this is bonus for FIU, closing the gap with Denver Jones on the bench. Oh, that's a bad pass. McKnight got up to get a piece, and now it's going to work out for Western Kentucky. Marshall into Guadarrama and a blocking foul.
Well, they really dodged the bullet there, Western did, on the press. That ball was in the air a long time. They were able to come up with it on the deflection, but FIU showing the full court pressure there, which is what Jeremy Ballard's teams have been known for. You know, we talked about legs being a factor as many overtime games as they've played the past few days, and so they hadn't seen the press a lot all afternoon, but with 4 minutes to go in the game and they're down, you might see it a little bit more. They're going to make sure Western prove that they can handle it.
Jones back on with 4:08 to go in the game. Kravakovic sits down. Marshall gets 1 of 2, and Dean has another rebound, his 9th. Closing in on a double-double. He only averages 3.8 rebounds a night.
Very, very poised, not playing like a freshman at all lately for these FIU Panthers.
Here's Jones. Guadarrama all the way in, and Marshall has another rejection, his 4th block tonight. We talked about the blocks for Jamarian Sharp. Looks like there's another Hilltopper coming to the block party tonight. Marshall swatted 4. Hilltoppers still lead it by 5 with 3:45 to go at the Arena. Western Kentucky by 5 with 3:45 to go. Before we get into the exciting final stretch of this game, let's go over to Lexi one more time with more on that 1954 NIT Final Four squad for the Hilltoppers.
Yes, guys, I mentioned that the team went 29-3, that 21-game winning streak. They ranked 3rd. I want to point out one of the players here today, Frosty Abel. He's still alive, still doing great. He was a double-figure scorer, one of the 6 players selected in the NBA draft, and one of the 5 who actually went on to play. Such an amazing team that is still remembered. They were coached by the legendary E.A. Diddle. He completed his remarkable 42-year career as the Topper head coach 10 years later after that team. This is the arena we're in today, Diddle Arena. Very, very cool moment in history.
Of course, the inspiration as well for the red towel logo that WKU has used now for so long, synonymous with this university. McKnight steals it from Pinckney on the inbounds. FIU's had a bunch of good baseline inbounds plays, but that was not one of them.
No, very frustrating as a coach to spend a minute and a half in a timeout drawing up exactly what you want and then to turn it over on the inbounds play. But heads up, great hands defensively by West Kentucky. Sharp back on the floor for the Hilltoppers.
And he had a long break, and that one's tipped out of bounds. So Western Kentucky keeps it with 9 to shoot. Five-point lead for the Tops. They've been up as many as 9. FIU held the lead until the 7.5-minute mark of the second. McKnight for 3. Big bucket.
Well, the scouting report early in his career on that high ball screen was a go under because he wants to turn the corner and get to his mid-range game. But that time, FIU goes under the ball screen. McKnight steps back, makes him pay. Huge bucket right there at the 3-minute mark for Davion McKnight.
And another FIU turnover. The story for most of the night has been the turnovers for Western Kentucky. But the Panthers now with back-to-back turnovers and a foul on Hawkins. And that's going to cause some problems for the Panthers. They had that inbound out of the timeout, down 5. They're thinking maybe they can cut it down to 1 possession. Instead, Couple of turnovers at McKnight 3, and Rawls is going to the free throw line to shoot 1 in the bonus with a chance to potentially put Western Kentucky up double digits for the first time tonight.
They have to prove they can handle FIU's pressure for the rest of the night. And this is where you really miss Emmanuel Acott, because at 6'8", with the ball handling ability he has, sometimes on the inbounds right there, the best thing you can do is just throw it up and let him go get it. And now, you know, we got good handlers on the floor for Western Kentucky, but not anyone of that size and length that can help with that inbounds pass, that can also handle the ball in the backcourt against the press. So big minutes here for Jordan Rawls as a backup point guard. Going to be a finisher here today. Western Kentucky going to a zone.
Jones thought about it. Hawkins takes it off the mark, and Dean able to save it, but only as far as Rawls. Tops looking for more. McKnight slows it down. First time tonight.
Tell him to bring it back out a little bit. Let's milk a little bit of this clock. Make sure we don't do anything quick here. Get the right shot by the right players.
First time tonight either team is led by double figures. McKnight checks the shot clock at the other end, pushes off on Dean, and he didn't get away with it. I thought for a moment maybe that was going to be permitted by the officials, but McKnight did put a pretty big forearm into Dean.
Yeah, you can put your shoulder into him a little bit to create the separation, but watch right here, you get the extension of the arm, easy call for the officials. He didn't have to do it. He didn't have to do it. I think he had the separation even without the push off. The defender kind of stumbled a little bit. All he had to do was turn, elevate, and shoot the short-range jump shot.
It's now or never just about for FIU, closing in on the final 2 minutes. Jones, high post Guadarrama. He has 4 fouls as well. Dean out of the corner, off the mark. Frampton the rebound. Cold shooting from deep in the second half for FIU.
Well, that last 2 possessions, you know, even if they got shots off, just that zone defense throws FIU off rhythm offensively a little bit. And they just can't get that quick hitter that you need, you know, down this much under 2 minutes. That might have been the dagger right there by Hamilton in the corner. I think that might do it.
3-pointers have really been the difference, especially in the second half. Western Kentucky, another good 3-point shooting night, 9 of 20. Here's Dean. Guadarrama lobs. Nice finish by Pinckney and a timeout called by FIU. But the Panthers in the second half, 1 of 9 from beyond the arc. And that has, in many ways, been their undoing, coupled with some turnovers down the stretch. Just an interesting game. Not really, I think, what we, or at least what I expected. Certainly not what you expected with Jones only putting up 6 points, and really Western Kentucky has limited even his shooting attempts. Only 9 shots have gone up.
Yeah, it's not like he's just having a cold night. They have done the job of keeping the ball out of his hands. All his catches have been in tough spots where he doesn't have. I think maybe he's got one really good look the whole game. That was out of the off an out-of-bounds play in the corner in the second half. But, yeah, I think if you're Phil Cunningham and his rest of their staff, be very pleased with the job that West Kentucky's been able to do on Denver Jones. And you mentioned he 1 for 9 in the second half from 3. They rely on the 3-point shot so much in their offense, but how much of it is, you know, you're on the road, you played 2 overtime games earlier in the week. How much of that is legs here for the Panthers here in the second half, just not enough gas to knock them down even when you do get good looks.
That's a good point. We talked about it earlier. We haven't mentioned it much late on in this game, but FIU had the lead with 7.5 minutes to go. You wonder if that was the point when the legs just started to give out on them after back-to-back overtime games. Turnover. Dean. Pinckney couldn't finish. That would have been impressive. Trying to jam it on the reverse. Panthers forced a turnover but couldn't capitalize. Frampton is fouled by Pinckney. Not the guy you'd want to foul, especially after Rawls had it.
A lot of time went off the clock right there. There were a couple opportunities to foul someone else. Luke Frampton, like you said, not the guy for West Kentucky that you want going to the line if you're FIU right now. And you know, the only chance you got for FIU right now to get back in this game is to create turnovers off the press. And that time they did create the turnover, but just weren't able to finish. And so here we go, West Kentucky in a great position to ice this thing away with a few free throws down the stretch.
You have to imagine Rick Stansbury is watching from home. He has to be thrilled after a tumultuous start to Conference USA play at 0-3 that Western Kentucky has rallied in a big way this past week under Phil Cunningham. This will be a third straight win if they do in fact hang on to get back to 500 in the league. Of course, still a big week ahead with games Monday, Thursday, and next Saturday, but 2 of those 3 remaining will be in this building. And you have to feel that the Toppers are at least putting themselves in a much better position in the conference than it looked like they were in a week or 2 ago.
Well, give this coaching staff credit. You mentioned, they lost the first 3 games with Coach Stansbury on the sideline, and that could have gone a lot of different directions. But to their credit, Coach Phil Cunningham and his staff, my old teammate Marcus Grant, and the rest of those guys that held this team together. And not only that, they picked up a couple of wins here. Big win today to get back to 500 in the league. A lot of basketball to be played here left in Conference USA with UAB with 2 losses back-to-back, the conference leader. And so plenty of things could happen down the stretch here in January, February.
Denver Jones did get that 3 a moment ago, so he has 9 points. At least will avoid tying his season low, but it would be just the second time this year he's been held in single digits as it stands.
Looking at him right now, hands on his shorts, bent over, he looks gassed, and rightfully so. A lot of weight on that young man's shoulders, carrying this team offensively throughout the season. 5 straight 20-point games, as you mentioned. Going to look back on this afternoon and know that he struggled, but a lot of good basketball left for him to play this season as well.
41 minutes last weekend, 42 minutes Wednesday. He's played another 35 tonight. Just catching up to him a little bit, maybe. Looks like FIU is going to let this one run out. Western Kentucky trailed inside the final 8 minutes of the game. Tops were down by as many as 4 in the second half. Gave up a 12-0 FIU run at one point, but they bounced back and roared to the finish to win it 70-59 over the Panthers. Make it 3 straight dubs for the Tops, and they will have an opportunity in the week ahead to push themselves to a winning record in Conference USA for the first time this year. Jay, you see them there going through the handshake line. As a former Division I assistant, how difficult the job is already, and then throw in the mix losing your head coach for the last few weeks as they have. What a response, what a testament, as you said, to this entire Western Kentucky coaching staff stepping up.
That's right. I guarantee they're telling this team, guys, there's things in life that you're not going to be able to control. Let's take care of the business where we can control things. We can control how hard we practice every day, the focus that we bring, and they got to be very, very proud of this team. Losing their first 3 with Coach Stansbury out, now rebounding here, going on the road and winning at UAB, come back home, protect the home floor today, and right back in this mix in Conference USA standings.
Yeah, certainly. And we got a chance now to hear from Phil Cunningham. He is joined our Lexi Schweiner.
Great game tonight. 3 wins now in a row. Went into the half up by 6. Then went scoreless for about 7 minutes in the second half. You called a timeout around the 11-minute mark. What did you tell them to turn this game around?
Well, we said the entire game, you got to be hard-headed. I mean, they're good. I mean, you look at their last 2 games. They beat UAB, and they had FAU beat and lost in overtime. And so we said they're good, man. You got to be hard-headed. And that timeout your references, we just said this one's all about will. And I think they wore them out, tired them out, and just some guys made some plays. And it's one of those games you just got to find a way to win.
Exactly, and your team has faced a lot of adversity over the past couple weeks with Coach Rick Stansbury out. How did your team come together and play for him tonight?
They've been tremendous. I mean, they've done everything we asked them to do. I mean, from day one when we got that phone call, they've just been unbelievable in their effort, their mental, how locked in they've been, and they haven't. It's so good to see them have success. Because they've been through a lot, and they're grinding right now. And what they did tonight, they set up Monday night.
What do you think Coach Rick Stansbury is going to have to say after watching this win at home tonight? I know he released a message to the fans and community before this. What do you think he's thinking right now?
Well, what he told me, he said, hey, every game in this league is tough. He said every game's tough, and he just said it won't be easy. It won't be easy. And I said, yeah, you're right. And he knew. He knew league play and how well they're playing. And it was one of those games we were struggling offensively. Give them credit. They're really good slapping down. We had so many turnovers by our guards, but that's kind of what they do. We're the best assist to turnover team in the league. But tonight, I mean, they turned the tables on us.
For sure. Now you have 1 day, about 48 hours until your next game, again at home against Florida Atlantic. What do you guys need to do to rest, reset, and be ready for yet another conference game?
Well, they've got to go to bed, number one, tonight. Good luck with that. But they've got to go to bed, and it's just about rest and coming in. They've been tremendous in their preparation. You know, our Coach Cross and Coach Grant, I mean, they've been unbelievable in their scouting reports. And Coach Cross had this one tonight. Coach Grant, he'll have them ready for Sunday. They don't need to be ready to play tomorrow. They need to be ready to play Monday night.
Awesome. Well, great game tonight, Coach. Congrats.
Thank you.
I'll send it back to you guys.
Phil Cunningham, the interim head coach of the Hilltoppers with Rick Stansbury sidelined, now 3-3. He's won 3 in a row. Obviously, these are not Phil Cunningham's first wins as a head coach. He's been around plenty of times. At the same time, there had to be a part of him when they started 0-3 in Conference USA that said, man, I can't let the train go off the tracks on my watch, and feeling a little bit better now.
Yeah, got this team performing at a high level again, back on the rails. And like he said right there, you know, he told them at the midway mark of the second half, this is going to be about will, who wants it the most. And they were able to get the stops down the stretch. Interestingly enough, with Sharp on the bench, it was Hamilton coming up with a couple of key blocks that led to some transition opportunities to stretch that lead out and finish this one off today at home.
Yeah, Lexi made a great point there as well about the timeout called by Phil Cunningham, snapped that 12-0 FIU run and really turned things around for Western Kentucky in the second half. For Jay Walton, Lexi Schweinert, and the rest of our fantastic crew here in Bowling Green, Nate Gatter saying so long from Diddle Arena. Western Kentucky beats FIU 70-59.